Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Live Well. My name is Mary Blake, your host, and today we are going to continue our conversation as to what it means to live well, mentally, physically, financially, and just as an overall balanced life and wellness. Today I am honored to be joined by a colleague of mine, Dr. Andrea Sasha Ortiz, a clinical psychology consultant and coaching professional. She has served in the community to advocate in various groups that serve for vulnerable populations and is also a good friend of mine. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about how your journey started in psychology.
Thank you for asking. It's actually probably a strange answer. I always wanted to be a psychologist. When I was 5, I decided that's what I was going to do with my life. So I have been an avid reader. My grandmother took me to the public library as a kid to keep from getting on her last nerve. So I would go to the public library every summer and read my way through the psychology section. And Probably within 2 or 3 years, I had read all the books in that library. And so when I would get home from summer break with my grandmother, I would go to the local public library here in town and started reading my way through that. And it was just always something I was interested in and passionate about. And so when I got to high school and came time to apply for colleges, I applied early decision 2 years earlier. And the college wrote me back saying, we usually don't accept students until they're at least in the 10th grade. So unfortunately, we can't accept you, but we hope you apply again later. And so I applied to Spelman College and got in. And that's all I've ever studied.
That's amazing. And I feel like I know you're much brighter than me and everyone in this room for that. That's not at all how I spent my childhood. So kudos. So in psychology, and just speaking on mental health in general, we live in a time where it's become a really hot topic and where mental health really drives our lives and drives so much of the decisions we make. What are some of the typical cases that you see?
The typical cases, it's no such thing as typical. I never have the same day at the office. That is for sure. It's a lot. I would say it's shifted since pre-pandemic. I don't like to say pre-quarantine, because depending on who you ask, there's still a pandemic. But before the quarantine, we had a lot more what we call the worried well. So that's just your average people who are going through, the loss of a pet, a breakup, maybe moving, adjusting to a new life change, right? Having a baby, moving to a new city, starting college. Since the quarantine, I think mental health, in not only globally, but specifically in North America, has really shifted into some of the darker side of mental illness. People being sheltered in place for 18 months really brought it out. A lot of women were sheltered in place with their abusers. A lot of people were you had a lot of people who were literally on the verge of divorce who ended up sheltered in place and having more children together. I have a lot of those patients. You had a lot of children who were sheltered in place learning from home and who are now back in the school system and have no social skills. And you have the parents who are now faced with the brunt of sort of blaming themselves for their children's intellectual or academic, I want to say, deficits. So it shifted it from a sort of like psychology, mental health was sort of like what, sort of the upper middle class just did because they could, to now it's a necessity. It's an essential part of healthcare. Just like you go get a wellness checkup every year. I tell people you need to pop into therapy at least 4 times a year, quarterly, really, to check on yourself. I think people were kind of likely to roll their eyes at that before, and now it's very much less taboo to go to therapy. So an average day at the office, I work with veterans. I work with a lot of families who are now splitting up post-quarantine because they can, fighting custody battles. And then a third of my patients are evenly divvied between those two groups. And then the last third being the worried well still.
Wow, it's amazing. And kind of going back to during pandemic and coming out of that and having a lot of kids who essentially were supposed to be taking classes or learning at home, but they probably didn't, parents are not teachers, things like that. Do you or can you speak to the psychology of the brain as to like what's the mechanism of action that's causing some of these things? Is it preventable? If we had a situation like that, pandemic era type situation to happen again, is it something that's preventable mentally that we could do?
I think I'll win a Nobel Prize if I come up with a good answer to that question. But I mean, I'm just one person, but my personal, maybe in my professional opinion, I would say that part of the pandemic never ended. I think America has been forced to take a long, hard look at our shadow selves. We've been forced to admit that we're depressed, we're anxious, we have trauma as a society. And I think watching our loved ones go through an incurable illness that some of us, myself included, lost people early on and literally never even went to their funerals, never saw them get buried. They couldn't. They were cremated or whatever. So you have a lot of unprocessed grief. You have a lot of complicated loss. And I think America is being forced, because the train never stopped. It's every month, these days, every day, if you watch the news, there's something else happening that's making your jaw drop open. I think America is learning like the value of mental health. And I tell people all the time, mental health is a form of wealth, because if you have a healthy mind, you have a healthy body, right? So I think we're having to redefine wellness. So when you talk about brain and behavior, I think if we redefine wellness, not to just mean I'm not sick anymore, and veer away from that more Western allopathic model, and move toward more of a balanced East-West model, which is health is not the absence of illness. Health is the presence of an abundance of health.
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. I didn't make that up. But yeah, it's not the absence of illness. So I think we have to redefine what we call healthy, also wealthy. Everyone I know in my life is going through something major right now. And I think it's forcing us all to reprioritize like what matters to me. So I think
exactly.
On a social, cultural level, we have to get to a place where we stop defining success as having things, having a status, and I get that I'm a privileged person saying that, so I know how that sounds. But I've also been on the other side of that too at times. So I think it's essential that we kind of redefine and teach our youth. You talk about children, so redefine what success means, redefine what leadership means, and help us to understand that success sometimes is knowing when to walk away from something that doesn't serve you, knowing when to leave a relationship that's not healthy anymore, knowing when to level up and get better friends, be in a better environment, get new opportunities that are fulfilling to your spirit, your mind, body, and spirit, not just physically or financially.
I could sit here all day and talk to you.
Likewise.
We'll probably do that later.
Yes.
Where would you like to see your practice in the next 10 years?
Oh, Lord, man. You know what? Wow, I'm very careful with my words these days because lately I've been getting everything that I wish for.
Just shoot for the moon. If you could just have everything you've wanted in your practice, as an advocate, as a woman who is in the health field, and as leader, what would that look like?
I'm going to go ahead and claim it.
Claim it, girl.
This is being videotaped. I will have sold my practice. I will be mentoring other clinicians who are multi-ethnic, because diversity is so important right now in all forms. And I will be a full-time consultant and advocate for vulnerable populations, but I'll probably be more so in the wellness and beauty side of healthcare, because I'm a health, wellness, beauty person, because beauty is also a form of health, and it's also a major booster to one's self-esteem and mental health. But most importantly, I think I'd like to be someone who is seen as, I don't want to say an expert so much as a very informed voice, speaking on behalf of those vulnerable populations, like veterans, like women survivors and thrivers of domestic violence, like children with various needs, backgrounds, and most importantly, having broken through barriers, because there needs to be more people that look like me doing this work. And it's not because of anything with all the superficial labels we give ourselves. I mean that in the sense of people who are committed to this work, who see other people as themselves. And so I want to be the change I'm going to be. And most importantly, I just want to leave a legacy of, like I said, redefining wellness and health about not the absence of illness, but the presence of abundance.
It's wonderful. And I am going to hold you to that because I
please
plan
do.
to be there every step
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
way.
So then we're going
And
to
I
be
have
doing
similar
this on a
aspirations.
boat somewhere next time around.
We'll follow up on the yacht.
Yes. And it won't take 10 years.
It's not.
Oh.
No, it better not take 10 years.
No, it better not.
So, in addition to her health and wellness expertise, Dr. Ortiz is also, as she mentioned, on the beauty side and specifically holds the current title for Miss Universe International. So, tell us, where do you transition your personal side and the professional side? How do you kind of mesh those two worlds together?
Another great question. However, I could get into trouble if I don't correct one thing. I'm Miss World International. I am going for Universe one day, though.
Apologies.
So no. She's pre-claiming it, so I accept that title. But I currently have to because my endorsers, I could get in trouble, so I can't claim someone else's title. But they're married to each other. I'm single, for the record, but they're married to each other. They're both. I really believe that part of redefining all these things is allowing women to be multifaceted. Because I have people who introduce me one day and I say, actually, I'm Dr. Stereotypical Barbie. That's what.
Ooh, I love that.
Stereotypical Barbie. If you saw the Barbie movie, if you haven't, please watch it. That's us, right? We're the gals who got a little bit of everything going on. So for me, they're together. My platform was veterans mental health. My original platform when I was Miss Texas was economic empowerment through entrepreneurship. So during the pandemic, we were all quarantined. So I had a virtual. So I virtually did my reign, and so I taught women across North Texas how to start businesses to leave their abusive spouses and partners. And I keep in contact with most of those women till this day, and they've started their businesses and they've moved on and they're safe and healthy. One of them got married and had babies. And I'm like, okay. So they're tied up together and I don't want them not to be.
And they shouldn't be. That's part of my point is so often, especially in health, as you know, they kind of pigeonhole us into, this is what it means to be a scientist. This is what it means to work in healthcare. This is what it should look like. And now we have people like you, myself, who are really breaking those barriers and redefining what it means for us, which encompasses everything. So if people want to find you, if they want to reach out to you, if they want to schedule a consultation, or if they need some more information, how can they locate you? How can they contact you?
Great question. So I'm on LinkedIn as, don't quote me, I think it's Sasha Ortiz, PhD. So I'm on LinkedIn. My email address is Sasha, SASHA, at texasintegrativehealthcare.com. That's my personal email. Y'all don't spam me don't spam me. People do this. It's like, come on. I didn't tell you my email for that. I don't want a lifetime supply of Viagra. I just don't. I've had that happen. And it was like, really? Maybe I can have
maybe for a client. Maybe you can use it.
I'm not a prescriber yet. So not yet.
Not yet.
Hopefully we're not there yet. But I don't know. Sorry, these tangents. So email, don't spam me, please. I am on social media, but you can find me on social media. If you do, then we'll chat. Otherwise, yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, there you have it. Dr. Ortiz, reach out to her for all of your, personal and professional consulting needs. And fellas, she's single, I mean, this is a winner here. So
make sure that you are too.
Don't spam her though.
That's not right. Don't spam your way into my heart. That can't happen.
I mean, I don't know if they bring the yacht, then maybe
if you're spamming me about an invitation to your yacht, I might be willing to consult for like 5 minutes, but then I'm gonna pass it to Mary, and if she's like, he's fake, I'm gonna just say no. I meant to also say, I'm also on Psychology Today. That'll give you a good idea of my philosophy of mental health. That's also Andrea Sasha Ortiz.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for being here today. And we definitely plan to have you back. And I'm sure you and I will further our discussions.
Yes, we will.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And thank you. Off next, we have Miss Amy Watt Verley, and she is a health and wellness coach and consultant, and she is going to tell us, a little bit about how she juggles being a mom, being a wife, and being a wellness entrepreneur. Coming soon.
Each year, companies waste an average of 72.5 days looking for items to support their traveling employees. This causes hundreds of thousands of dollars of time wasted to businesses that could have been more productive and profitable. In fact, 87% of corporate travelers complain of late or unattained items. Introducing Travel Pro. We provide high-value customized pre-packed bags of health and wellness-related essentials for companies who travel often delivered directly for distribution. We have an estimated profit margin of 62% and a target market of $420 million nationally as our serviceable, obtainable market. Coming soon, we have our own mobile app called Patho Spy, which helps to plan and manage upcoming trips. This travel tech offers innovative features such as currency conversion, budgeting, user-to-user communication, and upcoming virtual reality experience so that those who are logistically or financially challenged can experience other cultures as well.
Welcome back to Live Well. I am joined by a good friend of mine and colleague in the health and wellness industry, Miss Amy Varley.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us today. Amy is a health and wellness coach and also the founder of Wellness Warrior. Tell us all about how you got started with that and what all it encompasses.
Okay. Well, yeah, I just have a passion and a heart to help people be well. And I think that encompasses so many things. It's not just about what you put in your house or in your body. It's also about your mental and emotional state, your spiritual state, your financial state. It all works together in one big package so that you can have the best life and be well.
That's awesome. And so what inspired you to start at them and kind of put all those aspects together?
Well, I always wanted to help people. And it's funny because I thought I wanted to be a nurse when I was young because I wanted to help people. But then I figured out maybe being around people who were not well all the time was not the best choice. And so what I decided is I wanted to go into the business side of healthcare. And I just really have a heart and a passion to see people's lives transformed and to see them have resources that they don't know exist. There's so many amazing, holistic, resources out there that help people have a successful life, whether that be personal growth and development, where they can work on themselves, their emotional state, or like the most amazing holistic doctors or products out there. And so I just really saw a trend in when people were using these resources, they were just getting well, they were getting better, they were getting answers, they were having hope. And so I just love to see people light up and be able to have hope that their situation can get better.
That's wonderful. What are some of your more popular products or products that people are endorsing you?
So one of the companies I use, you can switch over your whole house. We like to switch away, from using big box stores and be able to help people clean up their whole household, because anything you have in your house can have chemicals and toxins. I have a real passion for people being healthy. And it's amazing, like what we put in our body, our food, our products, like our lotions, whatever it is, it can actually have toxins in there. And so I just am really passionate about helping people get clean stuff. And so that's one of the companies that I work with. Another one, we created a product in the hydrogen space that has a biblical component where you can actually speak healing scriptures over yourself as well. And so this was with a really amazing doctor that I work with out of California, and he has like a year wait list in his practice. And so we really teamed up to help each other be able to help more people.
Okay, now I have follow-up questions for that.
Okay.
Or if you're able to, how do they encompass the biblical healing with the hydrogen to actually elicit healing responses to people that are sick or that are ill? How does that doctor facilitate that, if you know?
Yeah. So basically, what we believe to be true basically is true. And so we can make ourselves sick by speaking things like saying that we don't feel well, saying that we're diagnosed with something. So we have to be really careful about our words. I know, like, based on my faith, it's really important, the words that come out of your mouth. And so we really want people to speak their healing, not just receive it. Even though the products are absolutely amazing, it also matters what you believe. And so we just put them together. We send a biblical scripture guide with them. We actually have a 40-day plan that they can follow if they would like, fatigue to vitality. And so for me, that just means cleaning up your whole life. So anything that you can do, especially if you have kids and pets, if you have loved ones in the house, you want to make sure that you have the cleanest, safest stuff in your home. Because like having good health is priceless. And so it's worth the investment.
Absolutely. Your health is you only get one life.
Yes.
So you may as well invest into it and invest into the lives of those who you love. So kind of a segue to what you were mentioning as, being a mom and a wife. How do you juggle being a mom, going into entrepreneurship? You've got these wonderful products that now I want to try. But how do you kind of put all of that together and still have time for yourself?
So I think being an entrepreneur is really the only way. A lot of times I feel like as entrepreneurs, we do work harder than sometimes people that have a corporate career, just in my opinion, because sometimes we're so passionate about what we do, we don't know how to shut off. And that also is a very important part of health. You got to rest. So I'm all about taking time and traveling. I've been on over 6 vacations in the last 2 months as I was building my business. So I really like to live life to the fullest. And I feel like being an entrepreneur actually allows you that privilege. I have a 5-year-old little boy, as you mentioned, being a mom. I like to include him in my business. So sometimes we give people like a tour through the store so that they can check out products. And my son knows how to do that. He knows how important it is to have clean products in your house. He knows we don't use toxic stuff. He's pretty hilarious. So he'll read like ingredients sometimes and be like, "Mommy, I can't have this," or "Mommy, I can't use that." And it just impresses me. Yeah, because I did not know any of that stuff when I was 5 years old. So I think it's just finding a ways to incorporate your family, still have your lifestyle. I love, like, my favorite thing to do is work in your pockets of time. So you have your important things and then you find your pockets. In those pockets, you just be very intentional with the time you do have. And it actually makes you more efficient, I think, because sometimes people, if they have all day to get something done, they might procrastinate that and not get it finished.
Absolutely. And if like, okay, I've got 45 minutes to complete this, you end up completing it even quicker than you thought, and then finishing something else. And you're like, oh, I was really productive in this 45 minutes, even though I've had a week to complete this task.
For sure.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Yeah. You mentioned earlier you've been on 6 or 7 trips in the past 2 months. Where are you going?
Let's see. Okay, so this time I did Mexico a couple of times. I did a cruise. Went to Galveston to escape the Dallas ice storm. Yeah. Because we were going on a cruise to Mexico, and I wanted to get out early, so we just threw in Galveston as well. Went to Vegas. Also went to San Diego. Had some trips that were paid for, which was incredible.
Oh, that's always the best.
Yes. And then I did a retreat in San Diego. It was a women's retreat. It was like a high-performing women retreat. And part of the retreat was you have to have faith and just like not know where you're going. And so we got dropped off in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on jet skis.
What?
In bikinis with jackets on top. And, we got to talk to God and talk to ourselves. And it's amazing when you're going 2 hours one way we were going to Catalina Island and then coming back. There's a lot of things that go on inside your head. And so it's like, it was a great time to like really just be and like get to hear and then see like what's going on, like, oh, it's cold, or if you're complaining, or if you're embracing like the dolphins jumping in the air, and so it was just like, it was such a neat experience. And then just got back from Legoland Resort with my 5-year-old. that was just fun because I got to see him light up. It was his spring break. And so we were there until last night. And so that was super fun. So yeah. And then I love all-inclusive resorts. So we've thrown in a couple of those.
So, okay.
But you can work from the beach. So
If you need advice about how to live well, I would just call you because you're going on these amazing trips. I didn't even know that you said you get dropped off in the middle of, you don't even know where you're going, and you get dropped in the middle of the Pacific on jet skis on the way to an island, to an all-inclusive resort. I want to go with you next time.
Yes,
I'm telling you right now. Next
I know
time
you like
go,
to travel.
let me know we're going.
Yes.
That's amazing. Do you ever face any challenges or people who don't have the same mindset, don't have the same mentality, or they just outright are against, whatever your personal and professional beliefs are?
Yeah, I've definitely had challenges. I'm really positive about it though. I have a huge heart for people who maybe they don't understand. Sometimes people don't know how priceless their health is until it's gone. And so I remember one of the doctors that I work with saying that he has multimillionaires, billionaires on his table that said they would do anything to get their health back.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people are really stubborn, they just want something that, that tastes amazing, and it can still taste amazing and still be healthy, by the way. But just making good choices, and sometimes people just want to do what they want to do, and they really enjoy unhealthy things. And I think it's a balance. So I think you can be healthy sometimes. I think Tony Robbins says zig and zag. So sometimes you can be healthy, but I think for the most part, I don't think you have to go overboard.
Right.
But I do think that if you want to have the best life and not have to have a lot of health challenges in the future, it's really smart to get the best products you can in your house, pay up front so you don't have to pay later. And you also don't have to make those your loved ones suffer because your health has gone down. And so, sometimes you want it more for people than they want it for themselves. You can help them, their life would be better, or you see them suffer maybe in a job that they don't like, and, they don't want to take the risk or the plunge into entrepreneurship. So I see that quite a bit. And I just, like to lovingly encourage them and circle back around with them, because life changes and things happen. And
absolutely,
sometimes people are more open, but, sometimes I used to get so sad for people, but I know they have to take their first step, and I would love to be the cheerleader in that situation to help encourage them to do that.
That's so wonderful. And yeah, I can also attest, working in the healthcare field, that there are a lot of patients who come in and they don't take the advice, to live, a more conducive lifestyle of wellness as it relates to diet, exercise, even speaking good things and positive things and those affirmations over your life. And then when they do return, they're looking for some magical cure to reset them. And at that point, it's too late. So then they don't have the option, but sometimes more invasive things or more medication, when if they had just, how you said, kind of led a whole lifestyle of wellness, taking into account mental, financial, physical earlier on in life for them and their family, then they would have been set up a little bit more better. So I've seen that myself. And one thing that we try to do is talk to our patients, not just don't take medicine, but change your life and start making small changes to have a larger effect long term. So if somebody, they want to reach out to you, or they want info on one of these awesome trips you're going on, or some of the great products that you have, or they just want some consulting and counseling from your perspective, how can they reach you?
Yeah. So my website is amyvarley.com, and it's AMY, V as in Victor, ARLEY.com. So I would love to connect with you. My cell phone number is on there. My email is on there. And so I'd just love to be a valuable resource in your life and help you connect with whatever it is that you need.
ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. Another wonderful day, another wonderful guest. Please reach out to Miss Amy, and she can definitely help you to live well, just comprehensively with anything that you're looking to fill in the voids or just get advice in your life. But thank you again for joining us at Live Well. Have a good night, learn something, and take care of yourself. Bye.